big knobs, okay? And if you can remember that those are your dorsal root ganglion, number one, they're going to ask it. Number two, if you learned your directional terminology the way you were supposed to at the beginning of this class, you'll know, oh, this is the dorsal root ganglion. Then on this little butterfly back here, these would be posterior horns, because dorsal and posterior are the same. Mm-hmm. Don't ask me why they switch back and forth between terminology on this model, but they do. Okay? So dorsal root ganglion, posterior horns. Well, if these are your posterior horns, then obviously these are your anterior horns, right? Mm-hmm. And then the ones out to the side are your lateral horns. Okay? If these are your dorsal root ganglion, this is your posterior median sulcus. Okay? Sulcus is shallow. Then this would be your anterior median fissure, right? Okay? This area here that connects the two butterfly wings is called the gray commissure. And the hole that's right in the middle of the gray commissure is the central canal. Okay?
Gray commissure is the butterfly body?
Yes, it's the body that connects the two sides there. And right in the middle of it is the central canal. Okay?
Can you show us this way a little bit more?
Sure.
The computer is very confusing.
Okay? So right here between the two butterfly wings is the gray commissure, and then right in the middle, you might be able to see it better here, it's just a dot in the middle. That's your central canal. Okay? So, kind of everything on here, if you learn all the stuff on here, if you know that these are dorsal root ganglion, you should be able to tell what everything else is. What posterior horns, oh, they're on the dorsal side. If that's the dorsal side, the opposite is the anterior side. Okay?
If you didn't take good notes on that, I have that saved on my thing from Kettler, and it's on my Facebook, and it's labeled. Everything's labeled on that thing.
Okay, so anybody who is not,
And if you need me to find myself on your phone or something, I'll do it. If it's worth it, I promise.
Help me to find myself.
help you find yourself on the phone, okay? Now, remember what I told you about once these come together out here, those are spinal nerves. And I told you, you're going to have this guy, okay? And see here how we got the green tape on a nerve here. You're going to have to count from the top. And you count to what first? What number? 8. That's the whole thing they're trying to get you to remember. Is you have 7 cervical vertebrae, but 8 cervical spinal nerves. Because one comes out above the atlas and one comes out below. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you just go, oh, okay, that's done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All you have to write down for me is T7. Okay? If you try counting up from the bottom, and we all should know by now that the hips are at the bottom. If your hips are at your shoulders, we have a problem. Okay? This is the bottom, and no one who counts up from the bottom ever gets the answer right. Count from the top. Count to 8. If it's way down here, count to 12, and then count to 5. That was on T7, and that's all you have to give me. You don't have to write out thoracic. You don't have to do anything.
So
T7. If it were up here on C8, all you have to give me, C8. That's it. Way down here, it could be like lumbar 3, L3. That's all you have to give me.
8.
But if you can't remember to count to 8 first, then it will set any other answer off.
So 8 cranial, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar.
8 cervical.
8 cervical, that's what I meant.
12 thoracic and 5 lumbar.
Okay.
Spinal nerves. Okay? So, alright. Now, so that was here. This is locate the, all right, now. It says locate the following on selected lab models. They do not have you do this, okay? Your brachial plexus is up here in your shoulder. Your phrenic nerve, like I told you, that's the nerve that innervates your diaphragm. Sever your phrenic nerve, you're going to die, okay, without that helping you breathe, okay? Sciatic nerve. Lots of people get sciatica. Sciatic nerve is the largest nerve in your body. Goes down the back of your leg, runs from your spinal cord through your gluteus maximus, or rather under your gluteus maximus area, which is why when you get a shot in your behind, they kind of do it over to the side. That's so they don't hit your sciatic nerve, because you'd really hate that if they hit your sciatic nerve. Your radial nerve comes down your arm, and vagus, remember, that's the only cranial nerve, it's cranial nerve number 10, that goes below
Your spinal cord.
Below your shoulder level, okay? And it goes down there, and it innervates, like I said, intestines. Yesterday somebody thought I said testicles. No. Intestines, heart, spleen, kidneys. There's a picture in your book. It shows it going down to all these organs, okay? So vagus is very important. And vagus, if you're a nurse, you know, sometimes if you get the vagus nerve just right, people can pass out. That happens sometimes if you ever have to take rectal temperatures. If you hit the vagus nerve just right, there's your patient out cold. Okay?
How do they ask these questions, though?
Those, like I said, I'm just telling you in case it's on your lecture exam, those won't be on your lab exam. Okay? Now, the eye dissection and the models. Okay. Conjunctiva.
Under the eyelash.
You see all those pretty eyelashes on the cow, and it's stuck underneath that eyelid. Conjunctiva. Conjunctiva. However you can spell it right. Okay? Now, the back of your eye, okay, you're going to see where they want optic disc. Remember, some of you had that pretty, the back of your eye was beautiful, and you had all this, the retina looked like it was radiating into like a point here. That point is your optic disc, or disc. Okay? So, you're going to have to know optic disc. The innermost layer, remember it looked kind of like snot when we used our probe, the snot? That's your retina, the innermost layer of the back of the eye. Then, the dark layer that has the pretty colors on it, that dark layer is your choroid. And then the outermost layer that was white, that remember when you tried to cut through it, is tough, like nobody's business, okay? That's your sclera. So they're going to ask you all 4 of those. I can guarantee it, okay? Now, yeah, optic disc, retina, choroid, and sclera. All going to be on dissected eyeballs, okay? Same thing with conjunctiva. It will be on a dissected eyeball. Now, the lens. The lens looks like a little marble. And note, lens has 4 letters. There is no E on the end. Okay?
And that was the round ball that had the gooky stuff around
it. And it came out with like egg yolk looking stuff on it. Now, if it looks like a marble, even if it's not, when we took them out, they were kind of opaque and kind of a cream color. If they are a peachy, orangey color and they still look like a marble, it's still the lens, okay? Because some of these dissections, they did some new ones last semester, but before that, these dissections, God only knows how many semesters they had used them, and they had been in preservative forever, and they take on kind of a peachy color appearance, okay? So don't think, oh, that doesn't look exactly like the one we dissected. No, if it looks like a marble, it's your lens, okay? And that will be on the dissected eye, okay? Same thing, they're going to cut the cornea off. Your cornea, yours and my corneas are clear. That's the very frontmost clear portion of the eye. When we dissected the cow eyes, because they've been in preservative, theirs were opaque. You couldn't see through them. They were all cloudy, okay? Here's the other one. They're going to cut this off. They're going to have it laying there, okay? Again, it may look a little peachy, okay? So you see this round, flat thing, or oval, flat thing. Looks kind of peachy. Can't see through it. Most people have the hardest time with that question
What
on
is
the
it?
quiz. And it's the cornea.
cornea.
So just, you know, if you want to ask me, would this be clear on my eye? And I could say yes or no. But if it's round and it's flat, think cornea, okay? And again, if it's a peachy color, it's been in preservative a long time, okay? Then, okay, ciliary body, iris, and pupil. Okay, so remember, let's see if I can draw over here. Okay. Here we go. Oh, where did I draw? Okay. Okay. The back side of this that looks like the underside of a mushroom cap and is black would be
Yes, sir.
ciliary body. Over here, this is brown. What is that?
Iris.
Iris. Okay? My irises are green. Remember, all cows' irises are brown. So depending on which side they've got, if it's black, looks like a mushroom cap, ciliary body. If it's on the brown side, oh, it's the iris. And what did I tell you all? Here we go. There's a pin. Stick in there. It says 27.
Pupil.
It's pupil. Okay? If it is stuck in the hole, it is pupil. Okay? These three, again, all going to be on the dissection. Okay? Now, we get down here. They are not going to ask you optic nerve. Okay? Your anterior cavity is the cavity in front of your iris and behind your cornea. Okay? Which you can't see well on the dissection. Right? Now, what did I tell you about this? What is this? Vitreous body or vitreous humor. I don't care which one you give me. And it is in which cavity?
Posterior.
Posterior. This is how they're going to ask you vitreous humor or vitreous body. Okay? And see here? This is the lens. This is not a gigundo lens. Okay? It's the vitreous body. And I can guarantee you, even after me like pointing it out and speaking slowly, somebody's going to tell me this is a lens. Okay?
So
Guarantee it. Because it happens every semester and I'm like, okay. Did I not just say that it is not a lens? It is a vitreous body.
anterior cavity will not be on there.
No. Okay?
And optic nerve, how would that not want to be on there either?
The optic nerve
Comes out the back.
comes out the back.
Oh, they don't have to.
Okay? Which was really hard for you to see on most of the dissections. So, that won't be on there. Now, what will be on here, they can't really ask you extrinsic eye muscles on the dissection because half of them have them cut off and you can't tell what's what, okay? You are going to see this eyeball, okay?
That exact model.
Yes,
Okay.
this model. Okay? So you have 4 rectus muscles, and they're superior and inferior are pretty easy to get. Superior rectus is on top. Inferior rectus is on bottom. That's pretty easy, right? Then, in the back, you've got 2 oblique muscles. You've got a superior oblique that's coming across over here, and this inferior oblique, which is down here on the bottom. Does anybody remember what I told you about this superior oblique?
Points medially. Points medially.
It points medially. So look at it. It's coming over here.
It has no right on the superior.
So this superior oblique's pointing this way. So that makes this automatically your medial rectus, since it's pointing that way. That would make this lateral rectus. They're going to ask you that. Okay, so see, this would be this
Say
eye.
that one more time. One more time.
One more time. That this superior oblique muscle, the one that's on the top,
I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it.
the one that's on top, okay, coming across, y'all see it? It's coming across. It's pointing this way. It points medially. So that is how you know that this is your medial rectus. And if this is medial rectus, then just by default, this is lateral rectus. Okay? So, superior oblique points medially. That makes this your medial rectus. This your lateral rectus. Trust me, they're going to have this model on your quiz. Okay? So, alright. Alright. Woohoo! Alright, now we are going to move into